to get sent to the NFL Combine by the higher-ups, by the top men of DFS Karma. So just hashtag it in the chat, hashtag it on Twitter, any DFS Karma tweet, just reply to the tweet, just hashtag send Ben and Bales to the Combine. We're going to get that trending, and then there is, like, they just can't say no.
That's how it works.
If we get it trending, I mean, how can they turn down that type of movement, like,
yep.
We just got to wake the people. Once we get the people on our side, they can't say no. So just hashtag it, and we're gonna get that moving in the next couple weeks here. But we're gonna start right there. See, they're busting in the shit. Thank you. We're gonna get this going. We're going to the Combine. But anyways, we have a big basketball slate tonight. 9 games, a lot of injuries again. I'll kind of go over some big ones, Bales. If I'm missing any, you can check me then. So Russell Westbrook's out. Obviously, that bumps up Harden. Guys like Gordon, Macklemore, Rivers, those guys will get some extra minutes as well. But I mean, Harden's numbers with Westbrook out are just like insane. It's like 47% usage, something insane. Like he does everything. So it's really Harden. Wendell Carter Jr. is out. So I saw that they were in like their shoot around today or whatever. They were experimenting with Thad Young alongside Markkanen in the starting lineup. So I'm assuming that's probably what they're going to do tonight. I also think Gafford gets a bump up. You can look at him in tournaments. So I like him. Bradley Beal's questionable. Bales, do you have a read on that? I mean, I feel like he's just not going to play because that's kind of been how it's going. But
yeah, it feels like he's not going to play, but I have absolutely no idea. Like, I feel like they just do like whatever they want with him. So like if he kind of wants to suit up tonight, feel free. But to me, it just seems like he probably isn't going to play.
Yeah. So if he's out, I mean, McRae, some of the other guys too, like as well. But it's really McRae. Is like the biggest beneficiary there. Drew Holiday's out. Josh Hart did not play very well, but I think we can go right back to Josh Hart tonight as long as he starts again. And Lonzo's been playing really well, Bales, recently, like really well. So I know his price is up, but I still think you can look at him. He's pretty expensive, so he's not going to be high owned at all. I mean, do you agree with that? No one's going to pay over $7K for him.
Yeah, he's taking a ton of shots, and he's taking a ton of threes, which is so good on DraftKings, and he has a triple-double upside. So, like, you can get the bonus stats with him, or I guess the bonus fantasy points. Didn't he just score, like, 65 or something crazy?
Yeah, I mean, really, like, the last, 2 weeks, he's been balling. I think he has, 20 or more real points in, I think, 4 straight or something like that. He's been playing really well.
Yeah, I mean, I like him. It's just he's priced up so high now. So, I mean, I don't really mind it, but also it's no longer like he's super cheap and you're basically just plugging him in.
Yeah, he was really cheap there for a while, but that's not the case anymore. Fred VanVleet's out again, so Lowry's the big winner there. Over 30% usage, decent per minute production rise as well. Both Brogdon and Sabonis are questionable, so I don't know what to really make of this. They called up 2 guys from the G League, 2 big men, Goga and somebody else, I think Elise Johnson. So I guess that could make you think that Sabonis might sit out. If he does, I think Warren gets a nice bump up, Turner. We'll just have to wait and see. Like before when Sabonis was out, Turner was also out. So that's why we were playing Goga and some of those other guys. But now Turner's back. I think Turner and Warren are the big winners there. If Brogdon plays, he's really cheap on FanDuel. He's like under 6K. So you're playing Brogdon on FanDuel if he's, in the lineup and playing. If he's out, it's Aaron Holiday again. Will Barton's out, which bumps up Michael Porter Jr., who we're expecting to start. He's really good. He's just been hurt, but he was a high draft pick. He's been a point per minute player this season. And then the Knicks are kind of screwing us again. Julius Randle's out. Marcus Morris is doubtful. So that's going to give us some Mitchell Robinson chalk. I think it bumps up Bobby Portis. And also, I guess looking at someone like Reggie Bullock, I think you could do as well. But I don't love playing Knicks players, Like it's not – I don't go out of my way to play Knicks players, especially on a 9-game slate. But Robinson in particular is going to be really highly owned. So in cash games, especially on DraftKings where you can play 2 centers, it's pretty tough to avoid him.
Yeah, I agree with that. The Knicks are just
Oh my god.
they're the worst.
It's every year. It's every year. We're about to enter the point. Anyone watching this, if you're a Knicks fan, I'm sorry, but we're about to enter the point of the season where Knicks fans are just talking about all the players they're going to get in the offseason that they inevitably don't get. But we're just going to like hit that point where they're going to look at the upcoming free agents. They're going to be like, oh, we're getting this guy. We're going to get this guy. And then they don't get anybody.
Davis.
Yeah, that honestly is probably, oh, Anthony Davis declined a max extension. He's coming. He wants to play for the Knicks. That's what it is. But, yeah, I don't know. I guess I like the Cavs, so I really can't talk. The Cavs are horrible, so. But I think that does it for injuries. I think I got most of them right.
Yeah, I think all the ones that I can think of. And I mean,
other ones like Isaac, but that's been like a while. Like we kind of already know about them.
Yeah, I think if there's anything else that would be major, obviously we're going to realize it when we go position by position. So, not a big deal.
Yeah. All right. I just got word from the higher ups DFS Karma. They merged the DFS Karma YouTube with the Bet Karma YouTube for right now. So we are live on YouTube. It's just under Bet Karma. So if you're watching this and you would rather watch this on YouTube, just go to Bet Karma on YouTube and then you can subscribe to that and our stuff will be on there for right now. But I was wondering why it said I was live on YouTube, but I knew I wasn't. But that would make sense since we're on the Bet Karma one. But okay, we're going to get into the positions now. Okay, the name of it's Karma Media Network. So look that up on YouTube, and that's where we're from. Y'all from Cleveland? I am not from Cleveland. I'm relatively close to Cleveland. Anthony is from Cleveland. Bales is not from Cleveland. He is the outcast.
Near Philly.
Yeah.
Kind of,
Bales
like an hour away
near
from
Philly, yeah. Bob is from like all over the place because he used to be in New Jersey and then he moved to Texas. But nobody really cares about him. And no one cares about Travis either, so we're not going to talk about those people. All that matters is Bales and I, really. So, no, I'm just kidding. Starting at point guard. Obviously, DraftKings, we use DraftKings pricing, so if you guys have a question on FanDuel, just ask, and I will answer that. Cleveland sucks. I won't disagree with that. I won't disagree with that. The weather, awful. Overall, not great.
Do they mean Cleveland like the city or Cleveland like the sports collective?
He might mean both, to be honest. But Cleveland's an underrated restaurant scene. A lot of really good restaurants in Cleveland. And actually being there, it's not as bad as you would like think it is. Like what people make it out to be. It's not that bad.
I was in Cleveland for one night. Me and Jason drive to Chicago where our other brother lives, and we stopped in Cleveland. Dude, we went to like some lake thing that was playing music. We had really good food. It's not as bad as doesn't seem like a bad place.
Yeah, it's not. Okay, he's from Pittsburgh. That's why he hates Cleveland. But
dude, but Pittsburgh.
I went to Pittsburgh for the first time last year. It wasn't that bad. I liked it.
I mean, they have good food there, if that counts. I feel like there's good food everywhere there.
Why are we always talking about food?
What else are you going to
do?
What do you mean? Like when you go on vacation, what do? You just eat everything, I guess.
Frank brings up a good point. Bucks used to be horrible, and he said hang in there. The Cavs just have like, I don't know. I don't have any hope in the Cavs. Best part of Cleveland's the Christmas Story House. Yeah, that's cool. There's a lot of cool stuff to do in Cleveland. It's not that bad, but it has underrated restaurants too. There's a lot of good restaurants in Cleveland. But all right, so DraftKings pricing, we're talking about that. If you have questions on FanDuel, go ahead and ask. Or if you have a question about something we didn't talk about, we'll answer that as well. So I think point guard, it's Harden. Obviously, you can also use it at shooting guard. He's shooting guard on FanDuel. Kyle Lowry is the other one with Van Vliet out. Had a really big game last night. Like I said, over 30% usage with Van Vliet and Siakam and Norman Powell off the floor. Pretty good per minute player as well. So I like him. Lonzo Ball, who I talked about, more of a tournament play. Like I'm not playing Lonzo over like a Lowry and cash, even though there's like a little bit of a salary difference. But I do like him in tournaments. I like Eric Bledsoe against the Warriors for his price, but not someone that ever really, gets a lot of ownership. And then for tournaments, I mean, it's Luka Doncic. I haven't really messed around with the lineups, so I think for tournaments, I'd love to play Harden and Luka together if possible. I don't know if I'll be able to do that in cash though. But I mean, if everyone's playing Harden, the obvious pivot is to just play Luka.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'll say I'm like 99% sure you can do this. What if
Okay.
you play Trae Young and James Harden against each other? Like, just imagine how many points you're getting when those two just start throwing up threes.
Yeah, I like that strategy. I've talked about stacking point guards together a lot, and Harden's not your prototypical point guard, but I mean, he's going to do all the scoring tonight for the Rockets, and what Trey can do when he gets going. So I don't mind that strategy at all. I think that's really a smart move for tournaments.
On top of them, Devontae Graham is just so good. So I have no problems paying 76 for him. And Alfred Payton's only 57, which is a little bit too cheap for a guy that has like quiet triple-double potential. And Utah's not really the grinded out, ridiculously good defense type team anymore. They kind of struggle against guards at times. And they're not fast-paced or anything, but they're no longer near like the bottom of the NBA. They're more a little below average. So you can kind of start using players against them more than we would have in previous seasons.
Yeah. Fultz and Augustine for FanDuel, or is it chasing last game? I wouldn't play them together, but I think you can play one of them in tournaments. The Wizards are one of my favorite matchups to, attack in the NBA. So I'm comfortable taking pretty much any of the Magic players in tournaments. I wouldn't play them together though. I think you would have to pick one of them.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Luka's at 10% ownership on DraftKings right now. Yeah, so we've seen this the last couple weeks, but they've bumped Luka up to, the 12K mark, whatever. He has not been high owned at all. I mean, people are playing Giannis because Giannis is cheaper. I've played Luka every night recently, like the last 2 weeks, and he's routinely like 15% owned. Like he's never highly owned even in cash. So I really like Luka again tonight. Any thoughts on Chris Dunn against New Orleans?
I don't mind him. I think he's a fine play, but I'm also not going to go out of my way to get him.
Yeah, he's 4,700 on FanDuel. I don't mind that. I would probably if Beal's out. Would you rather play Isaiah Thomas for 4,100? I know Isaiah Thomas hasn't been great, but you have to factor in that he got ejected 88 seconds into one of the games.
What a ridiculous ejection. Yeah, I would probably play Thomas, but I feel like you're just kind of flipping a coin at that point.
Right, yeah. I think someone asked for FanDuel point guards for tournaments. It's Alonzo for me. He's only 6,300 on FanDuel, so you're getting a little bit of a discount.
Yeah, I have no problems there. Yeah, I think he makes the most sense, but I feel like he'll get a little bit more ownership on FanDuel than he would on DraftKings just because his price is so low.
Yeah, someone else said something about Dunn. Yeah, Dunn, this is a good matchup for him too because obviously, the Pelicans play relatively fast and he's someone that can excel in that type of environment. He's also good on FanDuel too because you get +3 for steals and he likes to gamble for steals. So Luka, tough matchup. I don't really worry about that. I don't know. I get that some people do. I worry about it more when it's like an individual matchup that I know, if I know Kawhi Leonard's going to be guarding someone, I would worry about something, right? That when LeBron plays Kawhi, Kawhi's going to guard him, right? So you have to at least alter his ceiling a little bit. But if you're just playing a relatively good defensive team, I don't really worry about it because Luka's one of the best players in the NBA. No one can guard him. He can get a shot off against anybody. And with Porzingis out, he just does everything. Anything that the Mavericks do, it's going to go through him. So I don't necessarily worry about that in his case as much as I do other times.
Yeah, I don't worry about team matchups, really. Team defensive ratings, they matter. If you're playing a bad defensive team, it makes sense to use. But especially a guy like Luka can get the shot off against anyone. My big issue is Denver slows the pace down so much, which just limits the opportunities. And I mean, regardless of how good you are, if you're not seeing the opportunities, you obviously can't get the numbers behind it. But in the case of someone like Luka, I mean, he can do it against anyone. So you can always use him in tournaments. But I feel like he's obviously a knockdown from James Harden and cash. just essentially with Harden going against a team like Atlanta, where he's going to see a ton more opportunities for stats.
Right. Thoughts on none? None's like tournament play for me always. I don't like unless more guys are out. I think you can probably cash that. But for right now, tournaments. Jamal Murray's at like a point per minute with Will Barton off the floor, so I don't mind him. But Lonzo's 700 cheaper on FanDuel, for example, so I'd rather play him. But
yeah, I agree with that.
All right, shooting guard. Like I said, Harden is like the obvious play there. I don't mind Reggie Bullock for cheap. I actually had to play him in cash last night on DraftKings, which I ended up cashing, so it was fine, but I didn't really feel great about it. But I think you can go back to him tonight. I like Josh Hart as long as he starts again. I like Bullock and Hart more than Gordon, I think, if Gordon's going to have higher ownership, because I mean, Gordon has just not been good this season, you know?
Yeah, he kind of just sucks.
Yeah, like I would much rather play Hart than Gordon. Like as long as Hart's starting, that's an easy, pick for me.
Yeah, I'd do that too.
Plus, you have to figure people won't want to play Hart because he sucked so bad in their last game.
Yeah, that would make sense. And I mean, the matchup's just fantastic. Chicago kind of sucks defensively anyway. I mean, they're not a great offense either, so it's whatever. That and DeMar DeRozan, that dude's way too cheap at 68. Matchup against Boston's not great, but DeRozan at 6,800 compared to some of the other guys on this slate, I mean, just ridiculously cheap for how well he's been playing.
Right. Bledsoe is so cheap but bad. He's bad for fantasy. He's not that bad in real life. He's actually pretty good defensively, which is weird. But he's bad for fantasy generally. But, I mean, if you play alongside Giannis, it's really hard to be really good for fantasy, because he just takes so much of the usage. Smart is still cheap. Kemba's going to play tonight, right? Even they said limited, but he's still going to play, so.
Yeah, it looks like he's good.
That just kind of takes that off for me. Where do you guys find usage percentages? I mean, you can find stuff like that. NBA.com/stats, if you go to that, is really helpful, but it kind of takes you a while to get used to, like, navigating it. It's kind of confusing at first, but you can find out pretty much anything you want on there once you learn how to use it. We have projected usage on our NBA data dashboard, which is, if you go to dfscomer.com, under the NBA tab, data dashboard, you can find what we're projecting for their usage to be tonight. Do you have anyone else at shooting guard, though? I think for tournaments, Zach LaVine makes sense. I don't mind Fournier as well against the Wizards just because they're so bad. It just has to be tournaments only. Like I can't trust Fournier in cash, but
yeah, I agree. Those were two that I was going to outline. I'll add in Gary Harris is only 4K, and he's going to play a ton of minutes, so that makes sense. And Damian Lee is only 5,600, and I mean he's just flashed before. So if he's playing well, he can really like drop 50 plus fantasy points. And Milwaukee's a really good defense, but they also, I believe, lead the NBA in pace. So there's going to be extra opportunities.
Yeah. Best place for usage on-off combos, search for NBA WoW. Yeah, I think our friends at RotoGrinders, if you go to their website and then under NBA, I'm pretty sure it's free. It's like the Court IQ. That's really easy. That's much easier for someone that has never done it before. That's easier for them to sort the data because you can put whoever you want on the floor for any team and just easily check their like points per minute and all that stuff. So that's a lot easier, I'm pretty sure. Do you think Sacramento Kings trade Bogdanovich to the Lakers?
Nah, not really.
I don't know. Like, I guess I can see it. Like, okay, so I think Bogdanovich is a better player than Kuzma, but I understand the Kings wanting to trade him because, I mean, if you're dead set on him not re-signing, and they know that if he's a restricted free agent after this year, so someone gives him a bunch of money, which they probably will. They're not going to be able to match it or whatever. Like, I would understand wanting to get something for him, but Kuzma has the rest of this year and then next year. So you're getting like a year of Kyle Kuzma. I don't know how well Kyle Kuzma fits on that team. And you cannot convince me that if Bogdanovich isn't going to stay there, like, why would Kyle Kuzma stay in Sacramento, right?
Yeah, no one stays in Sacramento.
Exactly. So I don't know. I don't know. When and where is Kevin Love going? Yeah, everyone's saying Portland, but I don't know how much
I've seen
sense
Charlotte.
that makes. Yeah, the problem with Portland is, from what I've seen, they're saying the Cavs will trade Love, and the Blazers will trade Whiteside, right? I don't know, like, the Cavs would want more than just Whiteside, and the Blazers would want more than just Love because they're like, we're gonna have to take on, like, Whiteside's a free agent after this season, right? So they're like, we're taking on this massive contract, so they're gonna want more. So I don't know if the Cavs and Blazers really match up that well.
Yeah, that seems off. I also don't think Charlotte matches up that well, do they? Unless they're like
No,
giving them
I haven't
picks
looked
and
at
stuff.
Charlotte. Yeah, I don't know.
Their like salary is all over the place, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where he's going. I'm pretty sure he's going relatively soon, though, but I could be wrong. I think it's probably like this week or next week. Love to Denver would make sense.
Eh.
For Millsap and a pick. Yeah, Millsap has a pretty big contract, but I guess that probably makes more sense than Portland, in my opinion, honestly. At least the money's relatively close.
Yeah, but I don't. It seems like it would just be weird for Denver to make a move like that. Like, I don't know. It just seems Love doesn't seem like their kind of player. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I saw the Denver once Davis Bertans, which I would really like that. He would fit
that'd be
really well
nice.
on their team.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Okay, so small forward. DraftKings, you can use Michael Porter Jr. here. He's going to be really chalky. I think he's really good play as long as he's starting. I like PJ Tucker. PJ Tucker's been really bad recently, but I mean, PJ Tucker is literally the guy that, like, he could come out and get like 3 steals and 3 blocks like any night and just have a huge game. And he's cheap. And the Hawks are like really bad at like turning the ball over, right? So you have to think that this could potentially be a matchup where, you know, he could have a ceiling game if he gets a couple blocks, a couple steals. So I like Tucker. I like Eric Pascal again. And then it's like Giannis and Luka. Like, no one is going to play either of them.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, everyone's going hard, and I also like Brandon Ingram at 88, a little cheap. I think you pretty much outlined everyone. I think you can take shots on like Aaron Gordon, small forward eligible on DraftKings. Basically, anyone that's going to play big minutes against Washington makes sense.
Yeah.
And then if Thad Young's starting, he should play like 30 minutes, and he's pretty much just a fine play. Still pretty cheap, although he's not like jam into your lineups cheap.
Yeah, I would add TJ Warren if Sabonis is out. I like TJ Warren a lot. But power forward, it's the same guys: Tucker, Michael Porter Jr., Thad Young, who Bales just mentioned, Bobby Portis, Aaron Gordon. All those guys are fine plays for me at power forward on DraftKings. Tucker, 36 minutes, 9 points. Yeah, that's pretty accurate, to be honest.
Seems about right.
That's pretty accurate, but I don't know. Sometimes you're just forced into playing him, I guess. But that's really the power forward. So do you have anyone else? I mean, you can add like Giannis in, who like whatever Luka's projected ownership is. I would assume that Giannis is relatively close. I don't think anyone's playing him.
Yeah. Derek Favors at 7,300. I mean, the matchup against Chicago, we know that they can't guard bigs. So I have really no problems whatsoever with him. How do you feel about O'Shea Brissett, though? I feel like I can't get a read on if he's actually going to play like 20 to 25 minutes again, or if they're not going to give him the time.
Yeah, it's tough to trust the time for cash tournaments. If you want to throw him in, go ahead. No one's going to own him, so I don't mind it for GPPs.
And how do you feel about Taj Gibson? I guess too. I'll ask. I think he's only 3,100, and if Morris is out and Julius Randle's out, could see some extra time.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's going to play Mitchell Robinson, and people are going to look at Bobby Portis, right? Bobby Portis could have 50 fantasy points. He could have like 5 fantasy points. Like, you would not be shocked if he just played horribly. So if you want to pivot to Taj, like, I don't mind that. It's just like, Do you really want to do that on a
Yeah,
9-game
no.
slate? Do you really want to play
Do
Josh
you wanna play
Jacobson on a
Josh?
9-game slate? I don't know if you want to do that, but
Yeah, I feel you. I was just asking about them because they're so cheap.
Turner has a 30% usage with Sabonis and Brogdon out. Yeah, if they're both out, Warren and Turner both get bumps up. Turner would be particularly interesting because everybody's dead set on playing Robinson, so I don't mind that. But we'll finish up. Oh, thoughts on Spellman? It's just tough to trust the minutes because he's having good fantasy games. Like look at his last 2 games: 44 and 28 FanDuel points. He played 20 minutes and 22 minutes. That's on the back of 6 combined steals. I don't know if you could really bank on that happening. So he is still cheap. It's not like he's priced up, but I mean, I don't know. I don't really think you can project for more than like 22 minutes for him, right? So
I think that's about what he's going to play.
But if you want to play him over someone like Portis, I don't mind that because Portis's range of outcomes is just like drastic. He literally could have like 5 or like 40, and I wouldn't be shocked.
You just like take your shot, obviously.
Yeah. All right, we'll finish up at center here. Like I said, Robinson I think is the easy play right now for cash games. Things can change, but that seems like what you want to do. I like Vucevic a lot. Again, really good matchup. He's the biggest like permanent riser with Isaac out, and then he had the weirdest game the other night, man. He had like 0 real. He ended up doubling, but for like 3 quarters, he had like 0 points, like actual points, and like 15, 16 rebounds. It was super weird.
Yeah, he seems like just an odd player, honestly. I like him, and I really like him tonight, but just an odd player out there.
Yeah, so I think Vooch, Robinson, Capella with Russ out, I think you should throw in there as well. And then for tournaments, 100% Nikola Jokic for me. He had that really big game. What did he have, like 70 fantasy points the other night?
Yeah. Went nuts against Atlanta. I don't know. I hate using him on the road because he's just not good on the road. I know that game was, and I know that he just
I was going to say, wasn't the last one on the road?
Yeah, he just blew up for like 60 against Phoenix on the road too, but Washington on the road, he scored 35. Indy on the road, he scored 30. Houston on the road, he scored 34. The Lakers on the road, he scored 37. So like on the season, he's averaging eight more fantasy points per game at home. Like, I don't know. I get that he does have those blow up games, but more often than not, when he's playing outside of Denver, he kind of struggles.
Yeah, he could do more offensively with Barton out. I don't know. He had that big game, but he almost had 50 real points, right?
Yeah, he didn't do that much outside of I think he took 25 shots.
Right. And he could take a lot of shots tonight with Barton out, but he can do way more like peripheral wise than he did. Like he could triple double. Like he only had 8 boards, 5 assists. Like, he can do way more than that. So I just think for tournaments, he's a really good play.
Yeah, I have no problem with tournaments.
And he's relatively close to Vooch, like in terms of price. Like Vooch is 88 on FanDuel, Jokic is 93. Like it's not that big of a difference. So I like him in tournaments. And then Gafford, I think is fine in GPPs. I just wouldn't play him in cash.
Yeah, I have no problems there. I think that's based. Like, if you want to take your shot on, like, Rudy Gobert, feel free. I think that's about it. Like, a cheaper guy, Alex Len's only 4,900 and does come with upside. I would hate having to play Alex Len, though, so.
Dude, like, 12-year-old me wanted the Cavs to draft Alex Len so bad. Like, before I knew anything, like, about sports, like, I didn't have any idea what I was talking about. But I was, like, dead set that the Cavs needed to draft Alex Len.
Well, lucky you, they didn't. Maybe not that lucky because they still are pretty bad.
That draft. I have no idea who they drafted that draft, but I just remember I wanted Alex Len. I don't know why I wanted Alex Len. I just remember that I did for whatever reason. On my YouTube, I don't know what's going on with that. We're trying to figure that out. For right now, we will be live on the Karma Media Network. You can search that on YouTube. We're live on there right now. That's where the pre-recorded podcasts will be, and then we'll have streams on Periscope and Twitch as well.
It turns out it didn't work out for you because the Cavs they drafted Anthony Bennett that year.
Wow. I'd rather have Alex
Len.
So,
like, at least Alex Len's still in the league.
Yeah. Yeah, I would rather have Alex Len than Anthony Bennett. Yeah, somebody just said
Oladipo
Cavs
went
took
too,
Bennett. Yeah, I really liked Oladipo too, but I didn't think because the Cavs had Kyrie at that point, right? So I didn't think that there was any
I believe
chance.
so. Yeah.
I didn't think there was any chance they would draft him. But yeah, I
Giannis
don't
went
know.
15, so like big whiff by
Yeah.
everyone before that.
Yeah, that's my brother and I were looking at past NBA drafts a couple weeks ago. And we were just like laughing at some of the picks and like Kyrie's draft was labeled that was supposed to be like the worst draft of all time, and there's actually like a bunch of really good players from it. But DraftKings cash core, yeah. So before we finish up, we'll give away Bales. Who's like the core couple guys that you're building around tonight?
I mean, you're obviously.
Yeah, Harden's
I hate to
obvious.
do it. Harden, Mitchell Robinson, and Michael Porter are the three that you're basically locking in. Outside of them, though, I do really like Brandon Ingram, and I really like Kyle Lowry. So I mean,
yeah,
it's going to be they're all pretty expensive, so it's going to be hard to get them in. But
yeah, I would put Lowry in mine. Like Harden, Lowry, MPJ. I agree with that. I would put Lowry in mine, and I don't know, maybe Josh Hart if he starts. For tournaments, Vooch. For tournaments, Jokic is in my core for tournaments, 100%. But if we're talking cash, Harden, I agree on Harden. I agree on Michael Porter Jr. I would put Lowry in mine. I agree on Mitchell Robinson as well. So that's the main guys. But thank you guys for watching. Tomorrow's Thursday, so Bales and I kind of talked about doing. We're gonna do a stream tomorrow. We might talk about NBA for a little bit. There's a low amount of games, and then we're just gonna get in and talk about the NFL slate for this weekend. So we're gonna talk some NFL tomorrow. Not sure what time yet. I'll update you guys on the time later, but we will have a stream tomorrow. So we'll see you guys then.